Hello everyone, Burb here. This character is much anticipated and needs no introduction, but I'll give one anyways. This is a way tuned-up guide to Copano Rickey. As per usual, I'll talk about the banner real quick, then we'll get right into the character. For the banner, if you're an Oshi player for Copano Rickey, you have absolutely nothing to fear. This is a very strong character, especially on dirt tracks. The reason why she's known as a dirt menace is because her innate skills are meant to be for dirt. Her innate skills buff her ultimate, and her buffed ultimate is very strong and above rate compared to the rest of the field with a very high chance of speed carryover. So it's kind of the 1-2 punch of being somewhat easy to build as well as being very, very strong. Outside of dirt, you can technically build her just as strong on turf tracks. It's just you don't really have any tools at your disposal. There's nothing in her ultimate that says it must be run on dirt, but you lose her innate greens that help her out in that regard, so you have to go and grab those from scratch. The second thing that's a problem is that her turf aptitude is not that great, but you should be spending effort on the characters that you enjoy, and the Oshi players will spend that effort to go and run Copano Rickey on turf. If you're not an Oshi player for Copano Rickey and you're pulling on her because you think she's a must pull, just note that I personally believe not many, if any, characters at all in this game are must pulls, and this one certainly I don't believe so is required to have this. First of all, there's only a few dirt CMs from now until where JP is. It's about 5. I believe there's 1 League of Heroes as well, and even in the upcoming CM there is Christmas Augury to go and fight as well. And she is basically just an option that is very, very strong that can fight against Christmas Augury and not the be-all end-all for the CM. So this character requires a lot of actual parent building in order to go and make her work. And I don't want to minimize that. This is a character that requires some level of effort. So make sure you are going and aware that you're signing up for that by pulling for this character. All right, let's get right into the character. Her aptitudes are Dirt A and Turf Apt. Like I said, her Turf Aptitude is not great, but it is within the realm of being able to force that to A with a lucky pink spark. Now, she can be run on the dirt tracks of mile and medium and can be easily moved into the sprints as well. And while she's built as a pace chaser, technically, a lot of people will run her in the front runner position because she has innate greens, which makes it so you can proc groundwork very easily. You can also technically stretch her into the late surger role. There's nothing in her ultimate. There's no position-based stuff in her kit, really, so you can kind of just do whatever you like, although it does require 2 sparks. She's actually somewhat flexible, surprisingly enough, except in those long tracks, but there is no dirt long tracks, so really only the turf longs are going to be the things that you can't really run her on without an incredible amount of effort. For her stat bonuses, 20% wit and 10% power is very, very good. Perhaps the second best spread in the game, perhaps behind 20% power, 10% wit. But with Grand Live, you're pretty much going to be locked to a 3-speed, 2-wit, and light hello deck, or 2-speed, 2-wit, and some sort of stamina card if you're unable to reach the stamina requirements with sparks. And that is because the 0% speed cards, speed characters, it's very difficult to get to that close to the 1600 cap in Grand Live without the use of 3 speeds. So that is really where we're at. There isn't really much deck flexibility at the moment, which is a good and a bad thing, but the 20% wit bonus will help you if you are building her front runner in using the Mahona Bourbon Wit card, because having a utility card in the wit slot, this could also be Yukino Bijin if you're building her as backliner or pace chaser, you can kind of supplement a fine motion with a utility wit card rather than a full wit card, because the 20% wit bonus will help you get that threshold that you need. It's just rather helpful. Her ultimate, Luck Runs My Way, states moderately increased velocity sometime upon approaching late race, then increased velocity and acceleration based on how many passive skills the user has in effect. It's a rather simple condition with a unique scaling that we will talk about. Her condition is only phase later half random equals 1. So any phase that is equal to 1 is basically just the mid-race, and the latter half just means it picks a random point on the second half of the mid-race. Now, this is going to be just slightly before the position keep till the end of the race. And because it's latter half, it means it has a higher chance of speed carryover than a standard mid-race ultimate, which is rather valuable. That's pretty much the only condition, so it's going to proc at some point, and the strength of it is based on the number of green skills that you have successfully procced on the race. They do have to be green skills that are applicable to the track itself. Now, The base without any green skills proccing at all is a 5-second 0.25, which is below rate. It is only 1.25 distance units. If you get 3, you do get a bonus 0.5 for 1.5 distance units, and you do get a little bit of a bonus excel at 0.05. The thresholds are 3, 5, and 6, and it maxes out at 6 greens, in which her ultimate becomes a 0.45 for 5-second ultimate, which is above rate for a 2.25 distance units mid-race ultimate with very high chance of speed carryover when compared to other mid-race ultimates. Otherwise, you get a bonus 0.15 excel for the portion that does leak into the acceleration zone. Now, the way that skills kind of stretch out, it doesn't really matter the distance of the track. It's going to be roughly a 40% chance of speed carryover. And on worst case, oh no, it's a mid-race skill that is above rate. That is a 0.45, sorry, not a 0.55. And if it does speed carry over, it does have a bonus excel. And that's where you usually get between that 4 and 6 length advantage like Christmas Ogre. Now the Inherit is completely shredded. There is no special scaling. They just completely removed it and they shredded it to 0.05, so there's no point in basically taking this ultimate on anyone except herself. She is purely built as an ace, meant to run tracks and be kind of invested into to go and run the dirt track specifically, but any track that you are able to put it for. Let me grab a drink real quick. So her careers and events. She runs the new dirt schedule with all the dirt G1s practically, except for 4. And if you add those 4, you get some bonus speed, power, wit skill points in top pick, which is a mid-race speed skill, and forward march, which is a late race gambling acceleration as well. But you will have to add either the JBC Ladies Classic or Sprint in the classic year, or the new Junior Derby, and the Japan Dirt Derby, and the Kawasaki Keenan as well. So the other 4 dirt G1s, if you run them and win them, you go and you basically won every single dirt race available to you, and you get all these ridiculous bonus stats. It's like 75 bonus. I don't know if this is going to be worth it in Grand Live specifically, because a lot of early races are those dirt races, but we shall see. It is a ton of value in doing so. Otherwise, her other event is basically just noting that she is a charming Uma, which is one of the better two. The only one better than this is Fast Learner. Charming is the second best, especially in Grand Live when we really, really care about getting those bonds up early. For innate skills, she has Pace Chaser Savvy. For being a Pace Chaser, it counts as one of her greens. Medium corners is, of course, good on medium tracks. And then collaborative graded races just is basically a green when you're on the Oi, Kawasaki, and Morioka tracks, I believe. If you're on basically those dirt tracks, in particular, if you're on basically a dirt G1 track, you will get a speed stat increase, which counts as one of your greens for Copano Rickey Ultimate. Otherwise, her golden 8 skills are Chance of Victory, which is a second half mid-race speed skills for dirt when you're positioned towards the front, so front half of pack. Otherwise, Strong Steps is a green that basically, if your power is above 1000, it will proc and give you 60 mood up or 60 speed up for the green. The white version only gives 40 and 20. It gives 20 instead and gives a bonus 20 on either for a grand total of 80. Sorry about that. A grand total of 80 if your power is above 1200. This does take into account mood. Okay, so base power being over 1200 means you get a 80 speed, which is rather powerful, although this is going to be a tiny bit expensive, but you will probably take this because you are going and adding greens onto Copano Rickey anyways. For her CM viability, with enough effort, she technically is track agnostic. She doesn't care what track she's on as long as she has aptitude, but do note again, like I said, Turf F, and her stuff is basically all tailored towards the dirt, so you're building with a clean slate. However, on dirt, she does have 3 free greens if you run her Pace Chaser. If you don't run her Pace Chaser, she has 2 free greens that are basically make it really easy to build her, because you just go and add basically sunny days, firm conditions, and right-handed or left-handed, and there you go. You're at max at that point. The next champions meeting, the Virgo Cup, is a dirt track, although you are fighting against Christmas Ogre. Do remember that. The CM22 Aquarius is also a dirt track. CM26, CM32, and CM45, which is the one previous to the one that JP just did, is the only dirt tracks that are happening in Champions Meeting. There's only 5 in the next 2 years, so like I said, the dirt tracks are very few and far between in terms of competitiveness. So unless you are really trying to go and push her into turf tracks as well, because you really enjoy the character, a lot less useful in terms of winning Champions Meeting and being a menace than before. Realistically, you have 4 Champions Meetings without Christmas Oguri fighting against her at the level that she's at right now, and this 5th one, she is just like an option that is very good. So this is what I kind of wanted to make with this video, is that you need to pull for the characters that you enjoy. If you enjoy this character, she's certainly viable and she's certainly strong. It's just if you're trying to get a free ticket to win, this isn't the character to put all your chips onto, if that makes sense. For Affinity, she has a new record in this video series. Smart Falcon and her have 43, which I've not even seen anything close to. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's so much bonus affinity there. It's almost basically going straight to circle without any races combined whatsoever. After that, though, really only Agnes Digital is above that 25 mark. Everyone else is sort of a lot below. There is like Oguri cap at 21, but after that, your affinity is going to suffer the tiniest little bit, which means you need to, again, build parents pretty much specifically for Copano Rickey with good greens that are race matched so that you're able to boost that affinity so that those greens actually proc when you're running runs with her. This character requires a lot of effort because you really want to grab those 6 greens to buff her ultimate above rate. And yes, you don't technically need those 6 greens. This is still a good character without it, but you really should be trying to go and run her at the max potential due to her strength and the fact that those green skills also go and give you good things as well. She's a fun character with a unique deck building experience, a unique parent building experience. Is basically a small little side quest that you can do just from playing this one singular character that's completely unique and different than anything else in the game. That's why I think a lot of people actually will enjoy this character. Just make sure you're pulling her for the right reasons. If you're unable to get all 6 of those, 5 of those is just the threshold behind. You're only slightly behind max potential, but do note that your Copano Rickey will become a Copano Rickey. All right, take care, everyone. Burb out.